Okay, I think we are online eventually. Welcome. So, yeah, stream got a bit delayed. Well, pretty much delayed a lot. Because I was preparing different stuff for you. Okay, Yaroslav writes, if I may, could you please share how to develop the CA do anything mindset? What is this? To be honest, I don't know. It's like you have a task which you completely do not understand, but you're just, oh, I can figure it out. Yeah, we can talk about it later. So yeah, for those who are first time here, we are at Microsoft Office right now, here in Prague. We're gonna stream a bit today. So the agenda is pretty straightforward. We're gonna do some Q&A first, as usually, then do some LeetCode, and then system design. Plus, as a add-on, since people got some interest, we're gonna review some of the interview questions that are pretty much very famously asked in outsourced companies, in different outsourced companies. Such questions like about internals, .NET, internals of data storages, questions like tell me the difference between mutex monitor and semaphore, these kind of questions. But first, let's maybe try to do a bit Q&A session, because from the previous videos I got some questions. Yeah, so I think this is gonna be our agenda for now. So okay, let's start. So on my video about certifications, actually I posted a video on, I think, TikTok and Instagram, saying that basically as a software engineer you mainly don't need any certifications whatsoever at all, and all these certificates, courses and this kind of stuff, they're basically useless and don't bring you anything. And basically this thing that you might think that your certification will help you to get interview, for example. Let's say if you want to apply for Amazon, right? Some people think that actually it might be useful to get some AWS certifications. Well, it's not. Usually it's not completely. because what is actually meaningful if you want to get interview at Amazon is basically be prepared, have some pretty much relevant experience. Usually what they post, it is pretty accurate. You should have at least, I don't know, some bachelor degree or some, you know, something from university. But if you don't have this, you should have a bit of at least commercial experience. So usually they require 5 years. So what will actually help you to get interview at Amazon is to have relevant experience, especially if you have experience in other big tech companies. It says quite a bit for the recruiters, right? And second thing, you should prepare well your CV and prepare well for the interview. This is basically the recipe. So yeah, and certifications won't help you at all, for sure. So how you prepare for the interview at Microsoft? Basically, around 3 years ago, recruiters contacted me directly because it was COVID boom and companies started growing very rapidly, I would say. And actually recruiters contacted me, and how I started to preparing, it's pretty straightforward. You can find this information on like any internet. Usually big tech has 3 or 4 main types of the interview. For example, these are the algorithms interviews. So you are given some LeetCode based question, usually mid-level, and you're gonna solve it in like 30-40 minutes. If it's on site, you're gonna have whiteboarding. If it's online, as I got back then, you're gonna solve it on online systems. I don't really remember what it was. For example, for AWS, it was some custom online platform for the interviewing. After the LeetCode based question, you will get most probably a system design. So pretty common interview type, and pretty much every big tech company asks you about system design. So this one you for sure should be prepared, especially if you apply for some higher levels like middle, senior plus. In this case, you should demonstrate pretty strong system design skills, I would say. And after the system design, there are also 2 types of questions. Mainly, for sure, you will have some of the behavioral questions, especially I had a lot of them in AWS. They even had a separate interview for the behavioral questions, asking questions like, how would you resolve conflict between you and your colleague? Like, what if you have disagreement with your manager? And at Amazon, they got crazy about this because they have these 12 leadership principles. And most probably they will ask at least like 2-3 questions per leadership principle. And your goal and what you need to try to do is to answer by following these leadership principles, these kind of things. And also, for example, at Microsoft, how it's done, that at Microsoft we're also doing OOP question. So you got the question like design, I don't know, library using classes and using classes and OOP principles. This is usually how it works. So yeah, to answering the question, mainly you should be prepared for 3 main things. This is LeetCode question, this is system design, and the last one is behavioral question. So get prepared to the questions like how would you resolve conflict between you and your colleague, because these are kind of important as these FANGs and big tech, they value soft skills a lot, especially if you apply for higher positions. So what was the starting offer at Microsoft? Unfortunately, cannot say under NDA, but it wasn't some crazy. There was no crazy number. Actually, I got downgraded when I changed from EPAM. So yeah, I think you can check levels FYI or Glassdoor for Prague. It's pretty accurate actually. Okay, and then for one video for tools tools I'm using daily in my work, I got the question about Rider. So actually when I just started working, my main language is .NET. Right, so for .NET, the basic choice usually is Visual Studio, right? It's pretty good tool, I have to say. Also, it had always free version, so you don't have to pay. Compared to Rider, which had actually no free license up until, I don't know, last half a year or something like that. So it wasn't choice for me for sure back then. But lately Rider introduced the free subscription. For sure you cannot use it for commercial thing, but actually I like Rider right now more than Visual Studio for .NET development. First of all, it's cross-platform, and I got lately the MacBook, right? And if you have Mac, I heard the feedback about Visual Studio for Mac that it actually sucks. Unfortunately or fortunately, yeah. So most probably Rider is your choice because you don't want to work without native debugger and all these things. I never worked personally with .NET projects and CLI, so using command line as I do for Node.js, for example, or Python. So yeah, and does Microsoft allow working with Rider IDE, because Rider and JetBrains is kind of competitors in terms of tools for development, right? And the answer is yes, they do allow using Rider. Even more, they paid for my Rider license. However, it was a bit painful to achieve that, I would say. Yeah, this is like billion company, but I lost around 1 or 2 months begging Microsoft to pay me for this Rider license. So yeah, the process sucks a bit, to be honest. So yeah, let's go later. Can you share what IDE should a Python dev use? It was one of the questions under the video. Unfortunately, I didn't develop much with Python. However, most probably, if you are hyped and you want to use this AI thing, or if you want to develop AI-based applications, unfortunately, most probably you will end up using Python, because most of the libraries, I actually don't know what is the reason behind that, but most of the AI libraries, for example, if you want to talk to your ChatGPT and you want to do your wrapper over ChatGPT or Cloud or whatever you want, most probably you'll end up using LangChain or like Llama Index, these kind of libraries that are easier and much comfortable to use with Python. However, I don't really like Python, especially for backend development. Python is one of the worst languages, to be honest. This is my personal opinion, but for backend, I would use first is .NET for sure. If I cannot use .NET, I will use most probably Node.js, but Python never. The thread model here, the async await way of how it's done, it's very bad. The package management, oh my god, after NuGet or after even npm, the Python package manager is the worst. Like once we needed to migrate the library version, and the thing is that in Python it loads all your child library versions in your requirements.txt, which means if you want to, let's say, upgrade your library A, but library A has dependency on library B and library C, if they are not compatible, by upgrading library A, you end up upgrading library B and C. And if you have a lot of these dependencies, for example, yeah, once you need to upgrade some Llama Index, you need to upgrade a bunch of other shit that are not even related to Llama Index. And it hurts a lot. So Python for backend, definitely a bad choice. However, you don't actually have this choice if you want to develop for for the AI tools. And usually what I used, I think the mainstream for IDEs for, it's basically Cursor at the moment, because yeah, everybody hyped with this thing like vibe coding. Yeah, I feel this class gonna be doing that, or I feel like this service behaves like that. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think it's a bit of bullshit. It doesn't work like this for a long term, but well, it is what it is. So for Python, usually I was using before VS Code, because mostly I don't need debugger, like you can printf everything, right? It wasn't some complicated application that we were developing. And the command line CLI always works, right? So yeah, same applies for Node.js. Basically, I never use some like complicated debugger or stuff like that, because usually Node.js applications and Python applications that I was developing, they are pretty simple ones. This is not like this big enterprise, a bunch of factories, strategies, and all this corpo bullshit. It's like millions of line. So yeah. Okay, from Twitch. Hi, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing good, soon we start doing LeetCode, but so far we're answering some Q&A from previous stream and posted videos. So give us some tips on how to get an internship or first job, most probably at Microsoft, but I might be wrong actually. So at least in Prague, I don't know about the different offices, but in Prague we are getting usually every summer we are getting a bunch of interns. Once last summer, if you see it, Daniel, hello, we got intern to our team as well. And yeah, I was the kind of mentor or onboarding buddy for this guy, and he was doing very good for internship. So how you can do it, same way as you are applying for the real role. So official, I think, site with jobs for Microsoft, it contains also the internship positions. You're gonna just apply it, fill in the forms, and like, yeah, and starting from that point, what you should do is preparing for the internship, because I don't know about other different companies, but at Microsoft we are doing interviews for interns as well. So if you're studying, it does not mean that you are not getting interviewed. And interview process is pretty much the same. You will have system design, even though you are applying for internship. You should be capable of doing something like, okay, this is client, this is server, client communicates to server, blah, blah, blah. So there's some simple things you should be able to do. And for sure, we would expect you to solve some of the LeetCode questions. Actually, some of the guys are giving even harder LeetCode questions, because since you're like doing your university right now, you should be pretty much better in algorithms than usual dev that came from some enterprise, real company. So yeah, tips how to get internship: just apply and prepare for interview. Hope the recruiter will notice you. That's the thing. It works pretty much similar. I'm not sure we can refer the people for internship. So I'm not sure if there is option to get a referral for the internship. Yeah, during under some of the video about the tools I'm using, some guy asked, .NET, is that still a thing? So .NET is still a thing, even more. I would say maybe a thing that people would hate, but .NET is better than Java now. I understand that people might think, like if they have kind of snapshot of information 10 years ago, and people might think that .NET is very slow, Windows-only thing. So, like, and it was true. I agree, it was true before .NET Core was released. If you want to develop something on .NET, you tie yourself to Windows. It was the rule always. But after .NET Core was released, I don't know, 2010, 2012, I don't really remember. When .NET became a cross-platform, it was a game changer, because right now you can write your backend using .NET, and .NET is faster than Java right now. For 2025, .NET is faster than Java. It has much better thread model. It has much better synchronization model, and what is more important, it has out of the box beautiful asynchronous model as well. So your async await works like perfectly. And when I was trying to do async await or parallel, I don't know. When I was trying to use thread model in other languages like, I don't know, Python, Node.js, it sucks. It sucks because, for example, in Node.js, you cannot easily span multiple threads. If you don't know, in Node.js, by default, you have one-threaded event loop, right? So it means if you got two requests and one request is in while loop, I'm not sure, but I would bet that your server is stuck. So your Node.js becomes pretty much the thing that can do only input-output operations. It cannot do CPU-heavy load by default, I mean. For .NET, like every request, this is new thread, you can do whatever you want. And in Python, it's even worse, because if you do async await with Python, it's one-threaded as well, it is event loop. But it will be multi-threaded if you remove async keyword from Python functions, and then Python will become multi-threaded, but it will not be async. So it means whenever you do some input-output operation, for example, you're reading from file, reading from database, any request, your Python thread is stuck. So, and as far as I remember, I tried to develop in Java. My knowledge might be already over, but what I remember, there was no async await by default provided. So you need to hack some bullshit, install some package, do something with decorators to allow yourself to use async await in Java. And also, I'm not sure it works exactly like true async await should be working. As I was checking, it was more like you just spin new thread, and this new thread gonna wait for your file to be read. But it does not mean that your thread is like utilized in another request during this period. So yeah. One guy from Twitch asks, do you also have YouTube channel? Yes, my YouTube channel called Andrejka26_SE. Pretty much same as Twitch, but SE in the end. And I'm streaming there right now as well. We're gonna do LeetCode soon, so join us. There was some question from YouTube. Hello, did you completed graphs? I want to know, is there any prerequisite for graph? If we are talking about computer science, graph as a data structure, so yeah, I had some course back then in university, like 5 years ago or something. And then I watched some MIT lesson or lectures recordings, and I just read a lot during LeetCode problems. So this is how I learned graphs, but I don't know computer science and specifically graphs that deep. So I know like basic Dijkstra, maybe some BFS, DFS, and that's it. Also, this is interesting question. So the guy Yaroslav asked, could you please share how to develop the can do anything mindset? So what he meant is when you see some problem, I don't know, LeetCode problem, design problem, OP problem, system design problem, whatever, and you don't know at the moment how to solve it, so you don't really remember the patterns and stuff like that, but you have this feeling that this problem is solvable, this like intuition that, okay, I don't know how to solve this problem right now, but this problem is solvable. Yeah, and I think it develops just from the experience. Like before that, you're experiencing a lot of these situations when you are given some task that, for example, requires your knowledge in something, and you have no idea how to do it, what to do, things like that. and you're kind of panicked, shocked. You think your boss gonna fire you tomorrow, right? So, and then basically after spending days on it, maybe nights, you got the feeling. It's kind of like, you know, new location. First, it's like new neighborhood, you don't know shit, but then you are walking here and there for a couple of times, and these things now you can remember them. They feel like kind of home, right? And you know where to go, what to do. Pretty much similar, so usually it comes from experience, but sometimes it's wrong, because I had multiple times when by intuition, I thought, okay, this problem is solvable, I can solve it like in some meaningful time, but it was not true. However, these are rare cases. So, by the way, I'm also streaming on TikTok, and there are some questions from TikTok as well. Actually, this is very interesting. I need to review, so there was some bot, okay. Okay. So do you work for US-based companies? Well, Microsoft is kind of US-based company, but it has multiple offices. I'm working in Prague right now, Prague, Microsoft. Okay. Is Django the best web framework for developing an e-commerce website for a beginner? Very interesting question. So I remember that Django is somehow related to Python, right? Is it Python framework? I never use Django. Yes, this is Python. So to be honest, I would not recommend it, because yeah, Python for web development is bad for backend. But if we are talking about site, well, it depends what you would like to achieve. But if we are talking about e-commerce website, depending what you want. If you want to learn how things work internally, and that's why you want to build e-commerce site, then go nuts and do your own front end, do your own backend, do everything kind of from scratch. If you want just working e-commerce shop or e-commerce website like in 1 week, I would recommend use some existing, not even frameworks, but mostly like content management systems like Shopify or WordPress or something like that. And you can quickly span a new thing, buy yourself a domain and make things work. Work on marketing. Don't waste your time on programming, right? But if you want to build it just to learn how it works, then I would suggest create your own front end, create your own backend, and spend time and effort to understand how it works. Can you do front end? Yes, I can, but I'm very bad front ender, so I kind of enjoy to write logic. For example, I was writing a lot on React-based apps. I hate them doing the landing pages, so I hate this CSS, HTML bullshit. I literally hate it. I cannot stand it, and it was a very good thing that GPT era like was born many years ago or some years ago, and now GPT is doing front end for me. I like don't even put any effort. So I was using like this basic Flexbox stuff, right? You always using it for like positioning your elements, but literally every single time I was Googling how it's done, I never memorized it because I feel stupid when I memorize how Flexbox working. Sorry, mainly I'm backend guy, so yeah. What do you think we need to do to prepare for interview with big tech? So easy. First you should meet the criteria. So your criteria usually on job positions, your criteria should be either bachelor, masters, or some years in some years of commercial experience, usually 5+. What would be a plus is to get referral. So you have some guy from the big corpo or the company that you want to work on, then ask this guy to refer you to the recruiters. It will help you a lot. Also, if you have some relevant experience in also other big tech companies, it will help as well. And last thing, how to prepare. So basically, as I mentioned in the beginning of the stream, the big tech interviews have three main parts. So first part is algorithms, data structures. So this is LeetCode based question. Just solve like a couple of hundreds of LeetCode mid questions and you're ready. If you can solve average medium problem in LeetCode in 30 minutes, you're done. You're ready for this, basically. Then this is system design. For system design, I always recommend one single book, and if you read it carefully and do a follow-ups, it is really enough. This book called Data Intensive Applications by Martin Klapman. This is the best guide to learn distributed systems and problems you might face there. And after reading this book, you can just watch some YouTube or ask GPT how would you design this and that, and just get the basic patterns. Like if you need replication, okay, if you need high availability, I will do replication. So if there is too much data or I cannot handle the load, okay, I will do load balancing and partitioning. These kind of patterns, like where to use queue, when to use replication, and yeah, this kind of stuff. But basic knowledge source is Martin Klapman. And the third part for the interviews at Big Tech is behavioral questions. So just prepare yourself how you would answer to questions like, okay, you had conflict with your colleague in your project, how you sorted it out. And if you didn't have conflict with your colleague, you should kind of, I would say, make up this situation and imagine what you would do and prepare the good answer that would satisfy interviewer. For the Amazon, it's even worse. You should create a couple of situations for each of their leadership principles. Yeah, it sucks. I think it's a bit stupid and a bit too much. But overall, yeah, you should have good behavioral interview as well. So these are main things. Can beginner learn backend? Yes, sure, but I think it will be a bit harder than learning front end. But yeah, I was beginner some time ago, right? 7 years ago. Yes, 7 years ago. And I learned backend as a beginner, and then I become not a beginner, right? So yes, graphs for LeetCode. This is a question from YouTube, I think. So yeah, for graphs from LeetCode, so whenever you get a graphs problem on LeetCode, usually they're using like mid and easy problems. They will not ask you for some very complicated algorithm related to graphs. Just learn BFS, DFS, so breadth first search and depth first search. Learn some shortest paths like Dijkstra. Learn how to detect cycle. You're basically done. It should be like 90% enough to solve pretty much every medium problem in LeetCode related to graphs. So, do you refer people to Microsoft? If yes, what's qualification they need for you to do so? Yeah, unfortunately, sorry guys, but I can refer only people I know personally, and only people that I knew personally for a pretty long time. So I don't. If you write me to LinkedIn, I'm very sorry, but I will not recommend you because I don't know you. So yeah, but maybe you could try to write to random people in company you want to apply, and then you basically can get a referral sometimes, because it's beneficial for both. If I refer somebody, I will get money as well for referral if this guy signs offer, and this guy will get offer, which is also beneficial. So it's win-win situation, but I'm afraid that it might not be a good thing, right? Okay, so question from TikTok. 7 years ago, you look so young. Yes, I'm young, and I hope I will be young forever, but actually I'm 24 right now. I started my career at 18, and this summer, like in 2-3 months, it will be exactly 7 years of commercial experience. Yes, time passes. I'm also very surprised by this number, but yes, I'm already 7 years in industry. What did you use to learn new frameworks, languages, or technologies? I just Google them and read official documentation. If I will use it later, if it's one-time thing, I just do ChatGPT and try to make this thing work. Pretty much usual, right? Why did you use to... okay, this was already asked. Good. Good. Sally, hey. They ask hard DFS problem in my Amazon interview. Wow, interesting. I'm wondering what was the position, because typically what I heard from experience of other people, usually hard LeetCode problems are asked at Google, at Apple, but like Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft usually ask like mid, easy problems. Microsoft, in general, at least in Prague, has pretty relaxed boundary and pretty relaxed requirements for candidates, I would say. So Microsoft, personally, for me, it seems like has the easiest interview. For Amazon, I was asked mid questions, and I was applying all this time. I was applying for mid position and mid position, for mid positions only. But it's interesting that they asked a DFS problem, hard DFS problem. Interesting. Well, sometimes, you know, your interview is a matter of luck, right? Because it just really depends what people are interviewing you, what requirements these people want, how toxic are they, what did they eat today, like did they have argument with their wife or girlfriend this day, and all these kind of questions. And it is not the question that applies for one interviewer. Usually in big tech you have interview loop, right? So you should catch this good mood of 4 people simultaneously, and even more harder it makes the fact that actually when you're doing interview loops, at least at Microsoft, how is it happening? So you're getting 4 interviewers. Each interviewer does one type of interviews. So for example, let's say I'm interviewing tomorrow, and I'm gonna do LeetCode questions. So I get one question. I'm asking this question 4 candidates, and each of these candidates has its own kind of interview loop. So this candidate goes through 4 different interviewers, and each interviewer has 4 candidates. So if, for example, my previous candidate was bad, and I like, you know, I didn't like the interview, maybe I'm pissed, I don't know, maybe I'm angry right now, and you're my next candidate, for sure, like, we try to be as less biased as possible, but your mental state affect how you perceive people and how you perceive and judge the performance, right? So unfortunately, interview scene is pretty much luck mostly. So you should be lucky. You can be a good fit for the position, and if there are different interviewers who are interviewing you, you might get the role, but unfortunately, sometimes if you're unlucky and you got, I don't know, interviewers that had bad day today, you'll not get position. This is the reality, so that's why how you secure it, you apply for multiple companies. So at least once you will get lucky. Googling versus ChatGPT, what you use and what's better? Well, I'm using both. It depends what I would like to do, but usually I'm using both usually. Okay, I need to ban some bot in the Twitch. Chinese. Good, banned. Nice. So I think we should actually move. What other field do you think is good to get into or learn other than backend? I think AI is hyped, but unfortunately, if you choose to learn AI, I have bad news. Because usually the big companies for AI, not like small startups, but big companies like OpenAI, they usually require you to have PhD. And to get PhD is kind of a long process, right? So if you don't have PhD at the moment and you have big ambitions to go to some open AI, I would maybe recommend don't go to AI. Other than that, I don't know. I like backend at the moment. Maybe I would switch sometime in AI, maybe, but yeah. So far, I like backend a lot. Yes, привіт, хочу попасти до майків. Well, for English speaking, it was hello, I would like to join Microsoft. So just apply, try to get referral, prepare for interview. Microsoft interview is not that hard, to be honest, comparing to other big tech. I think it will be pretty easy. Have you ever tried game dev? Well, during my university time, I tried game dev in the sense that I think I wrote Snake as a game, single player, nothing fancy. I wrote Tic-Tac-Toe multiplayer, and I wrote chess. Yes, this was my top level of game dev, but game dev is actually very interesting. At some point, I wanted to jump to game dev and try to build my own, small but still working game engine. This was the most interesting part, but it requires a lot of math. It requires a lot of low level, so it's most probably C. And C might be a pain if you are not used to it, right? Yeah, but game dev is pretty interesting industry, to be honest. Working on any side projects currently? Yes, I'm streaming. Well, before I developed some kind of website for selling and buying pets. And also I have one in progress kind of application that is not released yet, so I would not share, but for now I just don't have time. I try to keep my skills, interviewing skills, so LeetCode system design back. So I'm working mainly on preparing right now, apart from my Microsoft job. I had press screen with HR for Romanian Azure, but still didn't get feedback. Yeah, feedback time is pretty long, but usually Microsoft provides you with feedback eventually. They are not like these motherfuckers that you're passing interview, you're doing test task, and then these guys are just ignoring and hiding from you. This is awful experience. I had it as well. Good. I'm thinking to learn C# for game dev. Do you think is it worse? Yes. So I have one friend who is working in game dev, and they are developing a farm game using Unity, so it's C# only. I would definitely recommend C# for game dev. But if you would like to implement the game behavior, not writing game engine. If you want to write game engine, it's C. I'm sorry, it's C, it's hardcore. Yes, good. So let's move to the question because it takes a lot of time. And then we're gonna start the LeetCode. So Git in Visual Studio also, I don't use Git command line. Is fork real better? So what I'm using for Git, personally, I'm wondering, what are you guys using for Git? It's very interesting question, because what I'm using is this UI client for Git. Let me show you, which is called Fork. It is cross-platform UI for Git, and so far it's the best because it's free. Comparing to previously, I was using Git Kraken, which is I think paid, and Source Tree, which I just didn't like. So Fork so far is a beautiful thing. I don't use IDE Git management because most probably in all JetBrains product, even in VS Code, in Visual Studio, you have the Git kind of UI built inside. But the thing is that when you're working on multiple projects, it's much easier to actually have one single point of aggregated repos when you can do your stuff. So yeah, I'm using usually Fork, and almost never I did any Git commands from the command line. What chair and keyboard you are using, it was also one question under TikTok. So chair is Office chair, completely free. I don't know what is it, but it's okay, you know. And keyboard, I'm using this one. I like it so much. It was a birthday gift from my girlfriend. I like it a lot. So let me try maybe to show you the color of the switches. So the color is actually green. I don't know if you see it, but it actually sounds as a red color. So maybe you can judge yourself. So this is what sound it has, right? Pretty good keyboard, to be honest. Yeah, usually I'm using mechanical stuff because I'm enjoying them. And since I'm working in open space, it's always red keys. At home, I have also blue and brown keys. How your life changed with the arrival of AI and how you use it to improve your productivity in coding. So, well, I don't really know. AI kind of changed it. So I'm using GPT a lot. At Microsoft, we are not allowed to use anything else except Copilot due to privacy. Overall, Cursor is a bit of game-changing tool for me. But in general, yeah, sometimes I'm just generating some boilerplate code and that's it. Yeah, and sometimes it's better and faster to Google through ChatGPT rather than finding answer in Stack Overflow or some forums, you know. But I wouldn't say it changed life a lot because usually the hardest problems I had to solve. For example, when I was trying to put a Firebase into Docker container, which these motherfuckers at Google, they didn't put any documentation about because they just, I don't know, didn't care or something. So yeah, I even had the article and I created my own Docker container and pushed it to Docker Hub because, yeah, I think your infrastructure for development environment should be in Docker. So when I was trying to put it in Docker, ChatGPT, like for hours, was not giving me right answer. And eventually, when I just, no, I will just understand how to do it myself. And I did it myself. So yeah, AI has its own limitation. Your team is in charge of Button. So what I said in my video that, yeah, at Microsoft, my team is working on Button. This is not kind of Button. This is, I don't know how to say it. So when in Teams you have this red, yellow, or green bubble that's showing your presence. So whether you're offline, online, blah, blah, or when it's Skype, in Skype you see your presence. My team is working on the backend for this bubble. So yeah, we are kind of in charge of bubble. What is your main programming language? Yeah, C#.NET. I think we're done with these questions from the video. And soon we're gonna start doing LeetCode. So couple more questions and we are switching to LeetCode, yes. So what about TikTok? I don't like when interviewers don't give feedback about tech skills. Yes, it is frustrating. I use IntelliJ API for Git. Yeah, it might work if you have only Java projects and nothing else. Yeah, it works well. Where do I live? I live in Prague right now. Yeah, that's it. I think this is a good time to finish the TikTok stream because you guys cannot see what we're gonna do here on the Twitch and YouTube stream. So if you want to continue, join us. Find me through Andrejka26_SE on YouTube or Twitch and join the stream here. For now, I'm saying bye for TikTok and we're doing LeetCode and system design right now. What's the Twitch link? Okay, let me put, I'm first time I'm streaming on the TikTok. So I don't really know how to write it, comment. Yes, I'm gonna leave it. yeah, just Google it and you will find YouTube, and this is where we stream. So see you guys for on TikTok, and on Twitch we proceeding. Good. So now I'm fully on Twitch. Let's go. Let's go and do LeetCode. So, yeah, good. Yeah, some people joined us from the TikTok. Nice. So the LeetCode, last time we were doing this delete the middle node of the linked list. I actually recorded the video about what is the efficient way of finding the middle of the linked list. Now we have this question. So this is, yeah, let me read it. So we have odd even linked list, and given a head of singly linked list, group all the nodes with odd indices together, followed by the nodes with even indices, and return the reordered list. So I think the picture is pretty representative here, I would say. So let me a bit draw. So how we can do it? Oh, sorry. How we can do it? So basically, you see, if we put indices there, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or kind of even. Okay, it should not start from 0 as an array. Let's put it a bit simpler. So all odd, even nodes should be placed together after all odd nodes. So how are we gonna do it? I think the algo should be pretty simple. We should start this as even node, or sorry, as a pointer to even node. This one should be the pointer to odd node. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna remove some of the, or not remove, but rather replace some of the next pointers. In which way? So we have our odd, and instead of this odd pointing to this even, we're removing this link and we are pointing to the next. Then our odd goes here, and we are doing exactly the same. We're removing this link and moving here, and that's it. And the same thing we are performing with even. So instead of this link, we are linking it like that, but we memorizing the first pointers, this and that. And in the end, what we do, we just link this guy with the first even node, and this is how we have this is the answer. So let's basically implement it. Of course, I'm gonna use my old good Visual Studio Code with Vim. So, well, let me a bit resize it. Exactly. This boilerplate bullshit we don't need, right? So, how do we start? First, let's check that head is not empty. If it's empty, we just return the head because we have nothing to change, right? Then, as I told you, we're gonna remember heads because we would need these two in order to link it from the last element from odd linked list. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna maintain two separate linked lists, and then we just merge them. So we are putting odd as a head, and this guy gonna be changing, and odd head will be constant. Same thing we are doing with even. So even head next. Why? Because our even should be the next one. The first even node is the node after first odd node. And we are memorizing the head of the even linked list as well. So something like that. Now, until which point we proceed with this algorithm. So we are basically shuffling and changing the references to the next node so that by doing this, we are creating two linked lists. Until which point we are doing that? Well, let's first maybe try to write the algo itself, then we will understand until which point we want to do it. So we are taking our auth and we are changing this to even next. So in this case, let me draw it here, the algo. So we have our auth and even, and what we are doing, we're having our auth, we're removing this next, and we are referencing the even next, which is this guy. This is the first one. Then what we are doing even next equal even next next, because it can be nullable by that point. So we are doing next, even, we're removing the next pointer and moving it to the next next, which is gonna be this one. And that's it. Basically for these two nodes we are done, and we should just place our odd and even pointers forward. So now our odd becomes odd next, which is this guy, and even becomes even next, which is this guy. So we're basically putting odd here, here, and even here. And then we just do exactly same thing. Up until point we should do it. So in this case, should we continue still? Well, yes, because we still have this odd. And yeah, basically I think even in the requirements we have that, how many nodes do we have? Oh no, we don't have. Okay, so let's say we have this situation. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, and we have 4. So we have our odd and even. This guy is removed pointed to 3. This guy is removed pointed to 4. And okay, what in this case gonna happen? 1.2, these are removed. Yeah, good. Yes. So let me maybe draw it in Escali drawing. It will be a bit better. So let's say we have this node. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have this thing. This is our odd, this is our even. And we are starting like this. We first removing this guy, pointing it here. Then we are removing this guy and pointing it here. And we are moving our odd to the next odd, which is here, and even to the next even. Like we don't have to where point our current odd, because there is nothing after 4, right? There is nothing, there is null. And same thing happens with even, because our even has basically nothing to go later. So at this point we should basically stop. And what will happen right now that we have, okay, let me redraw it. What is our current structure in this case is that we have this thing. So after 1 we have 1 points to 3, 3 points to 4, and 2 points to 4 as well. So what we should do right now is to point 3, which is our odd linked list, end, is to point it to the beginning of our even linked list. So we are removing this guy and pointing like that, and we are done. This is the task done. What will happen in case it's it is odd number of nodes? So let's say we have this situation. Actually, I can use arrow. Let's say we have this situation. Boom, boom, boom. So what will happen? Can I? Okay, I don't like it. Let's do old way. So we are starting our algorithm. Our odd and even are here. We are removing this guy and overriding it to the next. Same applies here. We are moving our odd to the next odd and even to the next even. Now, should we proceed? Well, I think yes, because our even, sorry, this should be 5. Our even has actually odd node here, and our odd still has even node. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna perform exactly the same thing. So our odd points to the next of even, and our even in this case points to the next of 5. In this case, the next one is null here. So I think you can see now the structure. It will be 1, 3, 5 as an odd list, this part, and 2, 4 null as a even part. And then we just connect them. We connect end of odd to the beginning of the even. That's basically it. So until which point we should do this while loop? In this case, where is it? Until we still have node for the odd next. So until, if we are at this node right now, until we have node behind this guy, until this is not null. So this is exactly what we are putting. If odd next still exists, we are performing this algo. And then our odd node is exactly this guy. We should connect it with the beginning of even head that we remembered here. And this should be return odd head. We should still return this is as our head. Exactly, let's try it out. Good. Okay, let's check comment. Yes, I found it. Are you backend dev? Dima Olex. Yes, I'm backend guy fully. Like I wrote some frontend, but mainly I'm backend. When head is assigned to let odd, it makes copy of value or ref. Ref is reference. Yeah. So basically, this question is solved. Let's move on. Next, our question is reverse linked list. This is pretty easy problem. I also pointed the shorts and in TikTok, in Instagram, everywhere. I recorded it. How is the way to do it? This is basically the pattern which you're gonna use in some middle problems, because sometimes to solve bigger problem you need to reverse part of the linked list or the whole linked list. So you should kind of memorize this pattern. So how it's done? It can be done recursively, but the best way is to do it iteratively, of course, because you don't want Stack Overflow on big data. So how you would do it? Okay, let me actually put it to my editor. So how you do it? You have left pointer and you have current, which you start with head. Now, while you have your current pointer, you memorize what is your next. Then you assign in next to the previous, and then you just shift your pointers forward. So left becomes current becomes next. In the end, you return left. That's basically it. Let's try. Except that, yeah, it's easy question. I just know it by this time. It's not like I was like that quickly. It's not like I quickly solved it in my mind. No, I just knew. I just knew it is. Good. I think I should move this guy a bit here, right? Yes. Good, we are moving forward to the next. This is maximum twin sum of linked list, and this is the problem where we actually gonna use both of these patterns. First, we would need to find the middle of linked list, and second, we would need to reverse part of the linked list. So this is exactly the problem where these two patterns are used. So maximum twin sum of a linked list. In a linked list of size n, where n is even and I is not zero indexed of the linked list, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's better to show you exactly on the picture how it works. So let's say we have 5, 4, 2, 1, and node 0 and 1 are twins of node 3 and 2. So what twins mean is basically this. If we have this linked list, our twins here would be the following. So for the node 5, our twin is the last node. And then for the node 4 and 2, these are the twins. So we are basically having this kind of pattern. Yeah, we have even numbers always. So first with the last, then we decrease both of them. These are twins, and in the end, these are two twins. What we should do is to explore all the twins and calculate the maximum sum between two twins. So when you have twin, find the sum of biggest twins. That's basically what we're gonna do, and how we're gonna do it, because in the linked list we have only reference to the next node, right? So we cannot easily from first node find the last node, right? And when we're somewhere in the middle, let's say we are exploring this node, we cannot easily understand how to get to this node. Which node is this, like second from the end? So how we can do it? Let's a bit draw here as well. So first of all, I want, where is this? I don't know where it disappeared. Should I? Okay. Okay, never mind. Let's draw in red. No problem at all. So let's say we have this node. This is one. We have a bunch of them. Let's say 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. And they are connected, right? No, I will still use the pen. So they are connected. This is the linked list. So this node gonna somehow find the last node. Second node should find the fifth node, and so on. And it would be great to have some good yeah, we should design some algorithm that will run, I don't know, not exponential at least, right? So how we can do it? We can observe the pattern that actually first node with last node, then second node from the beginning with the second node from the end, and so on. So basically, if we reverse this part, let me I actually need this guy. Okay, I need this. This is really some, like, there is usually some sidebar here. Okay, never mind. So if we can basically replace, or sorry, not replace, but to reverse this part of the linked list, what it will look like. Let me show you. We copy one, we remove these guys, and let's say we are reversing completely this part. How it will look like. We have this, and let's say we don't connect them like this. In this case, we still have our twins connected like that, right? But in this case, what will happen is that when we have our, I don't know, first and second starting here, what we can do, in this case, first and second are twins, right? So we can basically calculate their sum and then move forward. So in this case, since this is reversed, we move forward here and we move forward here. Now this is our first and this is our second, and these are again twins. So we basically can again calculate their sum, and we're moving like that up until we reach the end. So by creating this structure of linked list, we can solve this problem in basically linear time. Now, how we should reverse and how we can reverse this part of the linked list. So it is pretty kind of simple if we reuse two main patterns on the linked list. So first one, we should find the middle node. In this case, it's this guy. And starting from this middle node, we should start reversing this linked list. So we are unlinking it. So this link is removed. And starting from this node, we reverse the linked list. And then we just starting with heads of two lists, and then easy, bam, we solved it. Let's basically implement this algo. So first, what should we do? We should find the middle of the linked list, and it is done as I explained already in many different videos. You can just get the middle part, and then the algorithm would be that we are using two pointers, slow and fast, and then by the time fast is done, our slow is exactly on the middle. So we are introducing slow equal head and fast equals head as well. Then while fast is still the guy that can move, we are doing slow next, and fast next. Then our slow is actually our middle. Now, what we're gonna do, how do we divide this into parts to make reversing for second? Yeah, so this is exactly the thing that to divide the list, we should find the middle part. To find the middle part, there is already well-known algo. Actually, we can watch it on my YouTube Shorts because, yeah, at least I can use my shorts in my stream. This will be interesting, but yes, okay. So this is the thing. So can I? Yeah, without sound. So we already solved it in one of our shorts. Basically, what you do is you're using slow and fast pointers. This is how it looks like. By the time fast in the end, slow is in the middle. This is why we find middle, and then we basically split the two linked lists. So one linked list on two parts, and then reverse the second part. As simple as that. Yeah, let's finish. So this slow pointer is right now our middle node, and what we do starting from the middle node, we reversing the second part, exactly same as we did in previous LeetCode problem. which was about reversing the list itself. Exactly the same. So next equals current next, memoizing, then current next equals previous, then previous just shifting pointers forward, current and current next. Good. At this point, we have this structure. Now what we should do, we should assign first pointer in the head of first linked list, second pointer on the head of second linked list, and just traverse them one by one, calculating the maximum sum. As simple as that. So we're defining our max to 0, then while, let's say, previous, we are doing maximum equals max head value plus previous value. Then head is equal head next. We don't need to remember our head after traversing. We are not gonna use head of the list anymore. So we can reuse it as a variable. Then previous equal previous next. Previous is the pointer of the second reversed linked list, this guy. And head is the pointer of this guy. And with this, oh sorry. Yeah. And by moving like that, we successfully calculated our maximum. What? Sorry. Value, not value. Well, it will value returns undefined. That's why maximum is incorrectly set. Yes. So by combining these two easy patterns, this is how I solve this problem. Good. So I think for now I would have a small break. Q&A and LeetCode is done. Now we're gonna do system design. But system design we would start exploring because I have an idea what to do. And we're gonna explore some functional, unfunctional requirements. And after that, the scene that people ask me in Telegram. So I was exploring and revising what I was asked when I got senior position at EPAM 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And actually I found the database on the questions that I was asked during the different interviews in Outsource company. And basically we're gonna, on our streams, we're gonna answer these questions together with you. I don't remember actually the answer, but we will see. We will find out the answer. And this is how we're gonna move. So when you're gonna have some interview on Outsource company, you will have answer on these questions. You can note together with me. And for system design, yeah, I will show you in 5 minutes. So yeah, 5 minutes break. I'll be here really in a couple of minutes. I need to refill my water or this cup of tea. Let's see. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. There is a cup of tea. So Dima asked, how often do you stream? Right now I have kind of schedule that I'm streaming every single Sunday at 7 p.m. UTC. So yeah, please follow the Telegram or Instagram. I'm posting the day before when I'm gonna stream. So for how to find me, I think if you just search like this, you'll find me on both Instagram and Telegram. Okay, there are not that many people left, unfortunately. So yeah, only one guy. 2 people watching on the YouTube and 1 people watching on the Twitch. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna do it. So let's start. No more breaks. What I wanted to do for system design. This is interesting. Now I will. Okay, so I want to remove. Okay, I fixed Excalibur. So what I was thinking to do a system design about. Previously, if you remember, we did a system design of rate limiter and even more. We implemented our own rate limiter, pretty much simple one with the static window implementation based on Redis. What I was thinking about is what is the next for system design, what we can pick up. So now I'm thinking about designing bitly alternatives, so URL shortener. Actually, this is a kind of easy system design question, but apparently what I would say that it's not that easy, and I will explain why. What are the plan to master the coding interview? Only LeetCode practice, or we need books to read, like the Thomas Corman? Corman. I read the Corman. For those who don't know, I will show you how this book looks like. I read it pretty much full. Corman algorithm. It's called Introduction to Algorithms, but oh guys, I'm telling you, this is not introduction. This is not introduction at all. This is all algorithms that you might ever encounter if you're a regular developer. Yeah, I found the book. So I have this book, but not here in Ukraine. So yeah, it is pretty heavy. It's 1 or something kilos, and it's very huge. It's very light. It's like 1,000 pages or something. So this is like very huge book. It covers pretty much everything, but it's very hard to read, especially if you don't have math background. Because yeah, I had kind of math background, but without math background, it's pretty unreadable, because all the proofs, all lemmas, Corman is doing using the math induction or other math approaches. So yeah, I wouldn't say you need any book. Basically, LeetCode is enough. You need just practically learn how to solve average medium question on different topics. And topics are like, as we are doing right now, linked list, 2 pointers, dynamic programming, graphs, trees, like different slices of computer science data structures and approaches, you should do it. And yeah, then if you can solve average medium problem in like matter of 40-30 minutes on your own without help, you are ready for interview. So back to our system design. URL shortener. Actually, URL shortener most probably will require me to create another system design, which is highly scalable unique ID issuer, and you will learn why later. So let me put it, what is this? System design. Most probably today we will not design it. Today we will get some idea, approaches, and why I think that URL shortener is not actually quite easy system design problem. For me, for example, it's much easier to solve some chat service, like, I don't know, Telegram, for example, as a system design problem, rather than URL shortener, to be honest. Why? Because URL shortener, it requires some knowledge of encoding, hashing, uniqueness guarantee, and stuff like that. So, let's begin. What is the URL shortener? URL shortener should be a system that can translate your big URL to another small, pretty small URL, which is easy to manage, to set for the people, to, I don't know, to share somewhere and stuff like that. And what it should do when it creates a short URL, when users come to your service and try to resolve this short URL, your service redirects the user to the longer URL destination. So, how is it going? There is some user that has some long URL, https long.url.com, I don't know, QWERTY, I don't know, whatever you name it. What user want to do, user wants to fit this URL into our system, so into our shortener, basically. And our shortener, what it should give another URL, which is not that long as original one. So let's say we have a bunch of query parameters and stuff like that. What the user want to have in the end is some short URL. So https, I don't know, short.com, something like this. And after that, when this user, let's say user A, or me, Andriy, whatever, when this user shares this URL to his whatever subscribers or whoever else follows this short URL, when the user follows it, so a bunch of other users follow this URL, so they go by this URL to our service, the URL shortener should give us 302 redirect to original URL. This should be kind of the flow for this. Yes, this can be and should be the flow for us. Now, what is the problem here and what is the hard part of it? The hard part actually for me was that the algorithm itself that will do translation of the long URL to short URL. And also vice versa, because first problem is the uniqueness and yeah, second problem is the big scale. I will go deeper about it, but let's design our functional and non-functional requirements. So our functional requirements, which are what our app should actually do, what is the purpose of app, what the value app has, is to create short URL from big URL, redirect to big URL when short URL is requested. Maybe some analytics, but let's not put it. It's not quite kind of interesting. Interesting part would be, yeah, just as a user, I want to create short URL from the big URL, and it should always, whenever I try to follow this short URL, it should always redirect me to big URL without any problem. And usually the tricky part in any system design is non-functional requirements, which is highly scalable, so millions per second, millions requests. It should tolerate failures, so reliable. Whenever we have some node down, it should not affect our users, basically. So apart from 1 million requests per second, it should tolerate when some nodes go down. And it should satisfy the functional requirements in a good way. What I mean by that, there is only one mapping between unique short URL and unique, or not even unique, and big URL. What I mean by that is actually the following. Let's move this guy a bit to the right. So let's say I have URL, I don't know, domain.com/abc, abc, right? And I have URL ccc, let's say. What is prohibited to happen in our system is that both of these are resolved to one, I don't know, HD3. Let's say this is the short URL, HTTPS short.com. Yeah, what we should, I need to move it even further. What we should prohibit is these two guys resolved to the same short URL, because when we want to resolve it back, so when some guys follow the HD3, we will not know which guy to redirect to, either this one or this one. So our customer can't, oh shit, you can, oh sorry, yes, thank you Dima for letting me know that you can't see. Yes, let me a bit move. I need to control this because actually on my screen I don't see chat. I see chat only in OBS. So what we want to prohibit is when two long URLs are resolved to the same short URL. Because in this case, the customer experience will degrade. Because we don't know which one to choose. If we choose randomly, yeah, customers are not satisfied. However, if we sign same long URLs, it should be allowed, first of all. And second, it's up to you whether to return the same short URL or create different short URLs based on them. It doesn't matter. Let's say if this one would be HD6, it is okay, because whenever I share this link, it will be resolved to this long URL, and this link will be resolved to this long URL. Let's say, I don't know, some customers want to redirect to some site, I don't know. It should be okay. So these are our functional requirements. They should be kind of workable on the large scale. And this thing is kind of tricky to satisfy, because let's first try to understand how we can do it. So we have some long string of characters, and we want to make unique short string that will represent this long string. So whenever we have some long string, right, and we, like, let's say we have 100 characters for the URL, and we want, like, I don't know, 20 characters for the short URL. In this case, if we like use math and try to conclude what can happen and how to ensure the uniqueness, we will end up with the situation that if we try to convert the one long URL to short URL, we will end up into the collision. So at some point, okay, even maybe let me start from some another direction. What are the ways of converting long string into some short string? What are the ways? How do you think, guys? Since we have only 6 people, I would not expect actually that somebody would suggest, but let's just try to guess. First thing, we can basically try to randomly generate some number of values, and yeah, we can decide arbitrarily, let's say our short URL route parameter should be at most, I don't know, 8 characters or 7 characters. So we can randomly generate these 7 characters every time. I should move this inside here. So we can try to randomly generate these 7 characters by just using your internal language scene or by using something else, some more strongly cryptographic functions, and generate random 7 characters. And then, in the end, you will receive some kind of short URL, but by randomly generating characters, we cannot ensure that we don't have this short URL already in our system. Well, we can say it because we can go to, I don't know, database, some storage, and check whether this string exists. But if the generated randomly string does exist in the database, what we're gonna do? What we're gonna do? Well, there is only one thing we can do. We can regenerate. We can try to regenerate, and by the time we have more and more and more URLs, it will be longer and longer and longer the time that it takes to generate the URL, because we will be trying, okay, this is collision, this already exists, we need to retry, and by these retries we will increase latency of creation, and this is bad. So uniqueness is not guaranteed. By randomly generating the numbers, latency increases. Seems like not the best way of doing the things. But the good part of it that it actually does not rely on the input string. So however long URL we are putting, it will be always, by using this approach, it will be always as an output, it will be short URL that is randomly generated without any problem. So it does not depend on the input. Good. Yeah, let's say it will be 7. Yes. So for drawbacks, drawback uniqueness and latency. Cons, it might be, well, I'm not sure about performance of random number generation, but yeah, it does not depend on the input. So like we don't have problem with converting input to output. So cons is does not depend on input URL. Good. What are the other approaches that we might use? We have longer string, and we need it to convert to some unique short string. How are we gonna do it? Well, there is kind of scene. We can use kind of compression, but it does not help that much, I would say, because not all compression algorithms will fit in, I don't know, 7, 8 digits or letters or characters. Another approach would be to use hashing, actually. There are a bunch of hashing functions where you can put input, and as an output it will return some fixed size. Yeah, exactly. Hash generating. Yes, yes, yes. This is what we can use. The problem with hashing that sometimes the output is still pretty long. So for example, let's say MD5 output size. Can we Google this one? Okay, this is not actually that long. Need to fix. Okay. Okay, so with the hashing we have a bunch of problems. If the produced hash is too small, it means that we will have a lot of collisions, because when we have millions of URLs that are hashed to exactly same, I don't know, 5 characters, in the end we will have collisions. And how to overcome the collision is you can kind of use chain of hash functions, which will increase your latency as well, because you're trying one, you check uniqueness, it's not unique, you're trying another hash function, check uniqueness again. Another thing how you can do it is to, like in the regular hash functions, how we can resolve collisions also is to chain. So basically when two different long URLs are mapped to the same hash, we can use kind of chaining. But the problem is that it will not help us in case of dictionary. For example, if we take some dictionary approach, so let's say ABC mapped to hash 13 and BCD mapped to hash 13 as well, because this is very bad hash function. Then if we are talking about hashing in data structures and dictionary, when we try to get value ABC, we are calculating hash of it, and we check in dictionary, okay, there is, this will be our dictionary, ABC, BCD. This is the chaining mechanism of collision resolution. When we check our dictionary with ABC, we calculate hash, it's going to be 13, we go to 13, and we know that we want to have ABC, and we know how to check it. If there is something like HHA, that HHH, which mapped to 13, we go to dictionary, we see there is no HHH, and we can say that this dictionary does not contain this hash. The problem is that chaining is not really the option, because when you have these two examples, let's say this is our original URL, this is our second URL, and they both map to HD3 as our hash. Let's just assume. In this case, when users would try to follow to HD3, and we in our service will resolve, okay, either of these two can be the real long URL, how are we going to know which one exactly? The user does not provide the long URL to us, so we can check which one exactly. So chaining actually does not work in our collision resolution here. So only thing we can try is to, keep trying different hash function, or keep playing with salt, this initial value before the hashing, stuff like that. Not that optimal. It will increase latency, stuff like that. If there is longer string that can be produced by hashing, let's say some hash function produces, I don't know, 30 characters, we need just to take 7. How are you gonna do it? If you take first 7 characters, we have exactly the same problem. We will have a lot of collisions. Seems like not good approach as well. Yaroslav is right in the problem with the hashing can also produce the same hash to different strings. Exactly correct. Exactly correct. So again, drawback uniqueness. We don't have it, and latency, since we're gonna, first of all, hash is pretty expensive CPU operation. And next thing is that and next thing that since we're gonna try another hash functions, it will increase latency a lot. Among the consequences, well, it will depend on the long string, but not in some very strong way, so we should not care about it. Basically, there is third option, which is pretty much suggested by other people, is to use completely different okay, let me rephrase it. So for uniqueness, what we can like think about, we just have some counter that continually increasing. So let's say we are starting from 0 and we continually doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and like to infinity. Can we say that every produced number is actually unique? Yes, we can. If we can ensure that always whenever we do increment, it increments exactly by 1, we can say it is unique. This is exactly the approach. So incremented unique key. Among the benefits, it's not that hard to implement. Second benefit, okay, I would write so pros. Okay, let's do as a normal people. So as a advantage, short. What do I mean by that? Let's say we want to generate 1 billion, 10 billions of short URLs. 10 billions is 10 and then 9 zeros, right? This is pretty short thing to represent because it does not require you a lot of bits. So it means you have a lot of space to scale. Actually, you have a lot of space to scale when you're dealing with the numbers. This is first advantage. Let's say like how many bits in long. Long has 64 bits, which is exactly 64 divided by 8 bytes, right? And the maximum size, long type maximum, it is this big number. So when we are using for our unique key the number, which is auto-incrementing number, we can afford this number of unique short URLs. So this is pretty good. This is pretty good. This is a huge number. Next one, apart that it is short, we can kinda put here uniqueness, because if we know that we can auto-increment and continuously and consistently atomically increment this counter, every time we will have the unique value. We can kind of ensure it. So this is basically pretty much enough for our requirements. So we would go with this approach, but this approach actually raises a lot of problems rather than solution. But as a solution to our uniqueness and size requirements, it is good because it's short and it's unique. Now, one side question, how we gonna translate some number to characters and number sequence, because our short URL, it is not just numbers, right? Usually our bitly URL works like there is some like characters and numbers. So for this one, people created already well-known encoding, which is just translating one sequence of characters to kind of another sequence of characters, and it can be done in both ways. So what I mean by encoding is that you can represent the same information by using different formats. So for example, you can say that this number is 12, but you also can represent 12 as a binary format with some 001s, or with the hexadecimal, like with 16 base, and things like that. So for our short URL suffix, what we actually want, we want all the lower case letters, we want all uppercase letters, and we want all the numbers. Everything else I would rather not include. Why? Why do we have this kind of restriction? Because let's say you are generated this short URL. The thing that this sign in URL interpretation, it means query parameter. So browser can misclassify your URL, and you can parse it in the wrong way on your service. So it means we would like actually to omit this kind of characters. The same applies with a bunch of other characters. So basically what we want to have as output for short URL is lowercase letters, uppercase letters, and numbers. If we combine all of these, it gives us 62 how to say it, 62 candidates. So what we're gonna do with this number is basically apply well-known base 62 encoding, and we can already try it. So let's do base 62 encoding online. Let's just try it. So you see, it generates you pretty cool and nice, whatever exactly we want the output. So we put some number, it will give you this sequence, which is not that much larger than the input number. That's basically it. So everything else we're gonna use just standard well-known practices like partitioning, replication to make it scalable, reliable, and things like that. But the main problem for me in this system design was to actually find out the underlying the computer science behind this. Now, what is the problem with incremented unique key approach? It requires you to do actually another system design problem. I will state it here. And this one we're gonna implement actually and design, because how you would implement uniquely generated numbers that will never appear again? You can basically try to generate it using random, right? Just put as a number some boundary from the like long min and long max and generate arbitrary numbers. If you are doing random, in the end we will again get the problem with the uniqueness, because we don't have guarantee that random will not generate the number it previously generated, right? So we should approach it with different ways. So if we have monotonically increasing sequence, so first it starts with 0, then with 1, then with 2, then with 3, with 4, and so on. In this case, we can guarantee that our newly produced number will be unique, because it is one more than all previous ones. Future ones didn't happen yet. Previous ones will not happen again. So this is kinda good. How we can generate it? Well, in case of our choices, we can generate it on the application itself, on the server, or we can generate it on some storage. For example, databases, like SQL databases, they usually have auto-incrementing constraint, which basically guarantees itself that our newly generated ID for some table will be unique and will be monotonically increasing, which quite fits our needs until we have scalable environment, which we, in this case, have, because we will have million requests per second, maybe billion, okay? And in this case, our one single database, even if we just put one database, scale it vertically as much as possible, and then just create one table that will produce you auto-incremented key just for this key purpose, still we cannot guarantee a couple of things. First, that it can handle the load. Second, if it goes down, like, who will take over? Your follower might not catch up with the leader and you will lose uniqueness. So yes, this is kind of the problem. And if you say that, okay, for the handling load you can partition your database, this is not the solution, because if you partition your SQL database into two different databases, they don't have synchronization about constraints. So they will generate pretty much same IDs at the same time. You cannot synchronize them. So it will not solve the problem with the uniqueness again. It will solve problem only with load. So this is like kinda subsystem design problem that we're gonna solve. We want some scalable, reliable, unique, monotonic, or not monotonic, actually unique number generator. Yeah, this is our another system design problem, and we're gonna actually solve it, but not today. I just explained the basics for the URL shortener, what we're gonna do, and why we actually need first to solve the problem with the unique number generator. So functional requirements here is generates number, it generates unique number, and yeah, basically that's it. Only generates unique number. So this service should not generate the number it previously generated. That's it. This is basically the requirement. From non-functional requirements, non-functional, we still have highly scalable, let's say 1 million per second. So we kind of know that one machine cannot handle it, first of all, and highly reliable. So if one machine goes down, should still stay. Now, actually there are two pretty known ways how to do it, and we will consider both of them and maybe even implement both of them. So one way of doing it is to use something called, I actually forgot how this thing is called, to remember the algorithm, but this is some kind like how first GUID was generated. So UUID v1 was generated this way. So how it was generated, It has bunch of bits for timestamp. So current timestamp, like per millisecond. Yeah, I think it's millisecond dimension timestamp. Then it has kind of machine ID or like worker ID because of first clock skews on different machine, and second, yeah, both machines can generate basically same timestamp. It's not something bad about it. And as the last one, it has something like unique key or something like this. So the last bits are just designed for the cases when unfortunately two machines generated pretty much, or one machine, two machines cannot generate same. One machine generated same timestamp, same machine, and same kind of millisecond. And let's say this machine generated like 5 unique such numbers in the same millisecond. In this case, this part is the same, and we need some, some suffix to make it unique still. This is how basically GUID works. Then it's kind of translates, blah blah, and in the end you have your beautiful GUID format. You all know it, of course, and it is kind of ensured that it is the same, and it is monotonically increasing because it's timestamp based. UUID version starting from 4th or 5th, it does not use timestamp and machine, I guess, anymore, because it uses completely random bits. So it's just random different parts are generated completely randomly, and this is how it works. So new UUIDs cannot be used for this purpose, but we can use the same kind of approach as GUID version 1 to generate unique numbers. And second approach actually, let me find it. So this is called, I think, Snowflake, like unique number generator. And second approach is ticket server. This is very interesting approach when one server basically pre-computes all the unique numbers beforehand, and then all consumers are basically getting a range of these unique numbers, and then they don't call this ticket server. So this ticket server can issue like from 1 to, I don't know, 100,000 IDs for machine 1, and from 100,000 to 200,000 to machine 2. And now these machines, they have this unique range, and they know that only M1 has this range, no one else. And M1 knows that this range is unique and it can use it. This is the second approach. We will review both this approach in the next video, and we're gonna system design and then implement them. Pretty interesting case. And this system design, unique number generator, we will use in our URL shortener system design for this approach, incremented unique key. Then we will do base 62, and then we will design all other infrastructure layers for this one. Good. With this one we're done. I think system design part is done. I think for our agenda we should go to interview question. I don't think we can review many of them. These are outsource interview question. So outsource senior outsource interview questions. This is questions. This is what I was asked when I was applying for the outsource companies in Ukraine for the senior positions, and I was getting offer by offer. This is how I got offer for the EPAM, by the way. So a bunch of knowledge-based questions. How it will work during our stream, we're going to review some of the questions and then just find the answer, because I don't really remember the full, complete, detailed answer out of my head. And we're going to note it, and in the end maybe I will share my notes with you, for example. So first question, from this list that I was asked many times is that what is the difference in .NET world between mutex, monitor, and semaphore? What I remember basically that mutex, okay, first of all, what is mutex, monitor, and semaphore? These are three synchronization mechanisms that help you to develop highly concurrent applications using .NET and not only .NET, because mutex, I think this is operating system entity. Monitor and semaphore, these are only .NET entities, .NET synchronization mechanisms. So mutex, it is operating system scene, so it is not managed by CLR, so it's more heavy, more latency, it's more expensive to use. But it locks completely on the operating system level. So you have very high yeah, basically it loads on operating system level. May I have this list of questions? Yeah, sure, contact me, I will send you. Contact me in, I don't know, Telegram, Instagram, whatever, sure. Then monitor, as I remember, this is hybrid synchronization mechanism. So under hood in .NET, monitor will try to use lightweight mechanisms that are not go to operating system and try to do some stuff there. They will use managed scene on top. But if it gets more and more load, it will go and try to use some lower level synchronization mechanisms that are more expensive. So it will go to operating system mode. And semaphore, this is a kind of thing that allows you to control number of threads that can execute some part of the code simultaneously, because monitor one, it's entered, only one single exclusive thread can do it. Same thing with mutex. For semaphore, you can configure that, let's say, 4 threads at the moment can execute this piece of code and not more than 4. Also, semaphore, I think this is the only synchronization mechanism in .NET that allows you to use async await keywords, which means that you can use async await thing inside, because if you are using monitor or log statement, as I remember, you cannot use await inside. So you're gonna be you're gonna use basically synchronous versions of the methods. So your thread is going to be waiting for input-output operation that your driver on your machine is performing right now, which is not quite efficient. Let's basically check how, like back then, when I was preparing for these questions, I would just Google it like that, and I will find like different answers. Now you can even go to ChatGPT and straight away ask this thing, or even wait, in .NET environment, and let's check whether I remember it correctly or not. So mutex synchronization primitive used to ensure exclusive access to a shared resource. You can use across multiple processes. Yes, this is what I recall. Yeah, because mutex is so low level and it's so on operating system that even 2 different processes cannot get mutex on the same resource. However, when we are using monitor, it can happen. So on the one thread at a time can own the mutex. Good. Support inner process synchronization across multiple processes. Exactly. Slower for this reason. Okay, this one I didn't know. So yeah, we can use it in .NET. Just like this. Yes, mutex, and only one thread here can execute this code. However, I never had the problem with to support inter-process synchronization, so I never used mutex ever in my life, but I still was asked on it, so I learned. Then monitor. This is only .NET specific primitive, exclusive access as well. Unlike Mutex, it's faster. Yeah, because it's managed code level. Yeah, it's not operating system. Yes. Only one thread cannot be used. Yes, some syntax sugar, more efficient. It does not still says about two modes and about the fact that it is hybrid synchronization primitive, so it uses underline the heavy and light whenever it's possible. Semaphore is synchronization, allows multiple threads, exactly what I said, so pretty much I remember still this question. Oh, it can be used across process, interesting. Interesting. Does it mention async? No. What about async await in semaphore? Or it is semaphore slim or semaphore slim. What about no deleting. Okay. What about what I want to ask? Monitor. How monitor works internally. Oh yeah, this is called kernel mode. So there is kernel mode and light mode, kind of. So kernel mode is slower, but because it requires operating system calls. And semaphore slim, it does not go to kernel mode, so it's kind of light synchronization primitives, which is faster. And regular semaphore does not support async, and this one does support, which is very good. Because most of the backend code uses async await. This is for sure. We have a lot of input-output operations. This is not even a question. Good. This is how it looks like. Exactly. And how monitor? Okay, exclusive, yes. Okay. Okay, will they mention kernel mode? Does monitor goes into kernel mode? Unless necessary, exactly. Yeah, user mode. Yeah, these are two, like user mode and kernel mode. So user mode is more light, it does not go to underlying operating system. Kernel mode is more heavy. Yeah, and that's basically it. Expensive context switches, exactly. Yeah, so user mode, you can use kind of your application threads, not your operating system's threads. And for kernel mode, slower, involves systems calls and context switches. Yeah. There is optimistic locking. Yes, exactly, when you just spin your CPU and it's kind of working, waiting for another thread to be released. If lock is available, enter requires without kernel transition, exactly. If lock is contested, it will spin wait for short duration for user mode. Yes, and then if spin wait fails, so another thread holds lock for a very long time, then monitor fallbacks to kernel mode, exactly, because this is hybrid synchronization mechanism. Yes, where the thread is put to sleep and later awakened. Yes, exactly. So in kernel mode, we just basically let the thread lay down, rest a bit, but then we would need to pull it back, and it is expensive operation. So yeah, exactly. I think this one question would be enough for today because I am already tired, and I think we did a great job today. We also pulled some people from TikTok to here. I was pretty surprised. Streaming in TikTok is fun. Yeah, so that was it. I think we are done. These are my social media. Please don't forget to subscribe. Also, one thing to notice that I'm actually thinking about doing some mock interview. It will be pretty much the simulation of interview for big tech corporation. And specifically, I will be pretty close to how we are doing interviews at Microsoft, because I was interviewing a couple of times here as well as an interviewer. So yeah, for this one, please go to the Telegram or to, I don't know, Instagram, but I think I will post it in Telegram, and I will ask you to say, like, put some plus under the post in the comment section, so I know who is interested, and then I will think about how we can make it work, basically. And yeah, I think I will get a couple of people for mock interview, and yeah, all conditions, how it will be conducted, I will paste later in the Telegram. Again, in the Telegram. Good. It was pretty much my announcement. So thank you for being with me, guys. It was very cool to stream with you. A lot of questions, a lot of nice things. Yeah, it was me, Andrei. We are at Microsoft Office. Yeah, let's go to sleep. Tomorrow is Monday. See you. Bye-bye.